Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today we've got the Gem Summon Challenge back in the game. This is the fourth time that we've had this event in the game, and in this event, if you do 10 pulls with gems, you will get a guaranteed 5-star legendary hero from this list of 10 heroes. You do get the hero at random. You do not get to pick the hero, unfortunately. So I'm going to take a look at the 10 heroes with you, and then I am going to do my 10 pulls. There's definitely a couple specific heroes that I think are better than some of the others, but I do think that this list is very good for only 10 pulls. So we've got 5 heroes from the Ninja family. 4 of them are pretty new, actually, and then the other one, Oniwakamaru, is an outdated hero, but an extremely useful hero. I've actually got 2 of him maxed, double limit broken with masterclass emblems, and use them regularly in wars. And then the other 5 heroes are from Season 3 Valhalla, and included in that list is coveted Lord Loki with his costume. All right, let's take a look at these heroes in order. First, we've got Malum, and all of these ninjas have 3 different charges depending on how much mana they got. I'm not going to read the special word for word because it's very similar from the first charge to the second charge to the third charge, but Malum first reduces max health of everybody, or rather of one enemy, I think, with this first charge. Actually, it's the target and nearby enemies that he reduces the max health of, and then deals damage afterwards, and the attacks bypass defensive buffs. It's going to be 3 targets for all 3 charges, and the amount of max health and the amount of damage obviously escalate each time with each charge. In that third charge, there is also an added effect where the target and nearby enemies resist healing and receive 450 damage per each resisted healing attempt for 6 turns. I think that's the only other difference here. Actually, the first charge does not bypass defensive buffs, so the second charge has that added effect. I do love the fact that Malum reduces the max health before he gives the damage. He's one of the few heroes that does that. Chikao is an interesting hero. He is somebody that is going to attack the enemies on the edges of the formation. With that first charge, he dispels buffs first, attacks the enemies on the edges of the formation, and the enemies on the edges of the formation fall asleep. The second charge is pretty much the same thing except more damage, and I think that's about it. Yeah, just more damage. And then the third charge dispels buffs, deals 900% damage to the enemies on the edge of the formation, and yeah, same thing, enemies fall asleep. The amount of damage that they receive while asleep is higher with each charge. So that's Chikao, and these cards have pretty up-to-date stats. As you can see, he's got a total individual power of 1460, and Malum had a total individual power of 1461. Oniwakamaru is the only outdated hero out of these 5 ninjas, but still a very, very useful hero. And actually, these are the max preview stats when you follow the talent path all the way to the left, but I want to show you my version of Oniwakamaru because this one's only got 1203 shield, and that can definitely get higher if you follow the right talent path. And this is my version of him. Actually, I've only got him at 24 emblems, so you could get the health a little bit higher. He's got 941 attack, 1401 shield, and 2248 health. And the reason he is so useful is because he has the undispellable taunt. He's the only hero in the game that has undispellable taunt, and that first charge, like all of these other ninjas, comes in at 5 tiles, so he works as pretty much a very fast hero, or really better than very fast mana speed. So first he boosts health of himself, then he gets that undispellable taunt, and then he actually counterattacks with damage also. And all 3 charges are going to be exactly the same, except they are going to boost health for higher amounts. He's going to get taunt for more turns. The first charge is only for 2 turns, 3 turns for the second charge, and then 4 turns for the third charge. And the counterattack goes up each time as well, up to 133% for 4 turns for that third charge. The next ninja that we've got is Iga. I have Iga, and he is very fun to use. His 3 charges act pretty different because the first charge only affects 1 enemy, so he's going to summon a Fiend for that enemy. The Fiend, of course, is going to give some damage, and a decent amount of damage for a Fiend, 150% damage attack for each turn. Fiend disappears after absorbing 45% of the owner's max health, and then that Fiend is going to explode after 3 turns, dealing 1850 damage. The second charge, the Fiend is going to affect the target and nearby enemies for 175% attack, disappears after 50% of the owner's max health is healed, and then after 3 turns, it is going to explode and deal 2,000 damage. And then the third charge, which is ideally where you'd want to have that at. Actually, it really kind of depends on where you're at in the battle. Sometimes I use it on one enemy, sometimes I use them on 3 enemies, and sometimes I use them on all 5. But the third charge, the Fiend is going to go on to every enemy, going to attack for 200% attack each turn, disappears after absorbing 55% of the owner's max health, and then after 3 turns, deals 2,250 damage. Those Fiends deal a ton of damage with the 200% attack every single turn and that 2,250 damage at the end of 3 turns. I've got Iga, and he is a lot of fun to use, especially if you can pair him with another Fiend summoner so that the other Fiends can kind of be the shields for Iga so that the Fiends from Iga don't get healed away. So I'll often use Zhuge Liang with Iga and use Zhuge Liang first and then Iga so that if the opponent does heal, Zhuge Liang's Fiends disappear first. And then the 4th, or rather 5th ninja that we've got is Yumeko. So with her special, she deals poison to enemies. The first charge, it's only the single target that gets the poison. She's going to dispel buffs from the target first, give the poison, and the target gets minus 80% decrease for any healing received for 2 turns. Second charge dispels buffs, and then the target and nearby enemies get that poison. It's a high amount of poison, 2,280 over 4 turns, and then the target and nearby enemies get minus 85% decrease for any healing for 4 turns. And then the third charge affects all enemies, so she dispels buffs first, gets 3,420 poison damage over 6 turns, and then all enemies get minus 90% decrease for any healing received for 6 turns. So that's Yumeko, and then we've got Lord Loki, who we all know copies the enemy special. First, copies all dispellable buffs from the target. This is with the costume. Copies the special skill. If the target's special skill cannot be copied, then only deals 265% damage to the target. I'm pretty sure almost every single hero in the game can have their special copied except Kalo, and we don't really see Kalo out in wars anymore with the power creep. And then we've got Heimdall, of course, who is a healer and reviver. He's slow mana speed. With the costume, each defeated ally has a 50% chance to get revived with 20% health. All allies get plus 50% attack for 4 turns, and all allies regenerate 672 boosted health over 4 turns. For the next one, we've got Freya. She's fast mana speed. Summons a Raven minion for each ally with 25% health and 15% attack inherited from the caster. The Raven minion gets plus 180% attack, or the Raven minion gives plus 180% attack to its owner. I'm sorry. The Raven minion gives plus 180% attack to all its owner's other minions, and all allies get plus 36% chance to dodge special skills that deal damage for 4 turns. I personally never found Freya very annoying to go up against, because if you're going up against her, you're just going to try to kill those minions with tile damage, and the minions don't really have a lot of health. I never pulled her, so I never was able to use her, but again, I never found her very difficult to go up against. The next one is going to be Sif. So she is average mana speed, increases the mana of the caster and nearby allies by 15%. The caster and nearby allies counterattack with 125% of the damage received for 4 turns. The caster and nearby allies reduce all received damage by minus 40% for 4 turns. So Sif is an interesting support hero. The last one is going to be Alfri, who was a rush war goddess for a very long time and still can be pretty useful. Stats aren't great, obviously, but you could get that shield up over 1,700 because, again, these talent paths are all the way to the left on the talent path. So if you used the 3 masterclass emblems for the shield, you would get the shield 180 higher. And there could be other shield nodes that could have gotten missed. So you could actually get that shield over 1,750, which honestly, for an outdated hero, really is not that bad. Obviously, the attack is going to be like at 1,000 or maybe a little bit lower than that. But honestly, that shield could be worth it to put out a defense in Rush War, in my opinion. Anyway, she's very slow mana speed, deals 240% to hit targets. She's going to cast 5 dark cubes to random enemies. The dark cube reduces the max health of the target by 184. The effect is stronger against targets with boosted health. Enemies hit automatically cast a mindless attack on a random ally when mana is full at the start of the turn for 3 turns. Again, that's 5 random cubes that get cast amongst the enemies. Usually I feel like it's about 3 or 4 enemies end up with that mindless attack. Alfri, very annoying to go up against. And one thing that is worth noting with this gem summon challenge is that every one of these heroes, or rather every one of the season 3 heroes, and then Oni Wakamaru also, will be eligible for Hero Coach at the end of this month. The other 4 newer ninjas, Malum, Chikao, Iga, and Yumeko, will not be eligible for Hero Coach, but the other 6 heroes will be. So for those season 3 heroes, you would need to level up their costume, obviously, because you can only Hero Coach the main version of them. So definitely worth noting, especially for Lord Loki, for Oni Wakamaru, for Alfri. I feel like those are the 3 gems out of those 6, and then those other 4 newer ninjas, honestly, I think are very good and worth leveling up depending on your roster. All right, so let's go take a look at the portals that you can pull from right now. The big one I think everybody is going to be pulling from is going to be Alliance Quest, and it only costs 2,600 gems to do a 10 pull. The other one you could do is the Pickup Summon, which also costs 2,600 gems. The 2 featured heroes right now are Ashen, and the other featured hero is going to be Mukdus. They are pretty good heroes, especially Ashen. I would say she's a little bit better than Mukdus, but the rest of the heroes in this portal are not good because none of these heroes come with costumes. So I don't recommend pulling with gems in that portal. And then there's also Atlantis, which obviously I would not recommend. It actually costs more gems to do this for worse heroes. 3,000 gems for a 10 pull for that. The other one that you could do is this Epic Hero Summon for 2,600 gems, which I definitely would not recommend. It does have the new featured hero aspect of it with Shawl, but Shawl is a very outdated hero, as you can see with the 1303 individual power. And those are the only portals that you can pull from, it looks like. So we are gonna definitely use Alliance Quest to do my 10 pull. I did get lucky and pulled Gartered a couple days ago when she came out. When I did my hero review on her, I had only 15 pulls with the Alliance Quest coins, so I used those and got her. I do have quite a few moths now, a couple of them maxed, actually 3 of them maxed right now with Grove Vert, Satin Pimenter, and then I've also got Mortowitch, and I love my moths. I hate going up against them with the sleep aspect, or rather the moth dust, and then turning into sleep if it gets cleansed. All right, so let's see if we can find 2 5-star heroes of the same color next to each other. Actually, I did this the other day with Tilbione and Pepper Blue, and it worked out for me by pulling Garter Red. So let's see if we can get lucky again today with my 10 pull. Either way, I will get a guaranteed 5-star hero from that Gem Summon Challenge list. First up, we've got Rose Petite, Cheyenne Bray, Carver, Rose Petite again, Rose Petite again, that's 3. Legendary Horgle. Unfortunately, no costumes. Obviously, he's gonna have, or rather gonna be saved for Soul Exchange. I never pulled his Toon or Glass costume, so not going to level him up, obviously. So no other 5-star heroes other than Horgle in my 10 pull. Now let's go see who I get in my guaranteed 5-star hero from the Gem Summon Challenge. I am hoping for Malum, another Iga, or Alfri. I've already got 2 Lord Lokis maxed, double limit broken, and I think at 25 masterclass emblems for one of them and 24 for the other. I don't know if I would level up a 3rd one. I don't use them every single war. And I've already got a 3rd Oni Wakamaru that is unleveled, so I don't think I really want a 4th one. So I'm hoping for Malum, Iga, or Alfri. I was never able to pull Alfri. All right, let's see if I can get lucky with one of the ones I want. And we're not gonna with a yellow, we're gonna get Sif. I've actually already got Sif maxed. I don't have her limit broken, and I don't really use her. So this one is definitely going to get saved for Soul Exchange. Let me know if you decided to do the Gem Summon Challenge this time around and who you got. But that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful. And if you did, hit that like button. Make sure you sub to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.